You guys, I just filmed a video, an update of my life on Lexapro, my most watched video. It's been a lot that has changed in my life in the last 6 months or so. I had VSG surgery. I've lost over 30 pounds. Life is good, but take a look. I wanted to respond to all of the people who have watched that video, and I hope that you all are doing well. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Momsavinggrace. I wanted to do a follow-up video on something that is one of my top watched videos, and you'll never guess it. It was my life on Lexapro. That's right. I had a lot of people, a lot of hurting people, a lot of people who are really curious, who may be contemplating the decision of taking antidepressants for anxiety. And I wanted to respond to them because that is my most responded video. I actually had to turn off the comments at some point. We'll probably keep the comments on because I would love to hear from people that decided to take Lexapro or any other medications after watching the video, just to see how you're doing. I'm hoping that you are all well. The reason why I turned up the comments before, because I got a lot of comments from people who are really hurting. My heart goes out to everyone because I know how it is to suffer from extreme anxiety. But I really at some point felt like some of the questions were so personal, and I didn't want to give advice where people really need the help of a professional or need to see a counselor or a physician or whatever. I just didn't feel like it was my place to give certain advice, and that people really needed to reach out, because when you're in an extreme place of anxiety, you really need to be evaluated. You know, it can interfere with the quality of your life. Some people don't suffer from anxiety as much as others. Some people have low levels of anxiety their whole life, like I did, and thought I was totally fine. Rated by a viral illness and some extreme case of vertigo that was related to that. And I had a lot of stressful things going with another move with our family, so it was kind of an exergonic thing, and also some physical things going on, so it just kind of compounded, and that's how I ended up on Lexapro. So to answer the question, first of all, do I still take Lexapro? Yes, I do. I almost weaned off of it about last month, right around October. I take a very negligible amount. I get a lot of questions, people saying, how many milligrams do you take? I always am hesitant because I don't want what I take to steer anyone away from their physician's orders. So just so you know, the least amount of Lexapro that they recommend, that they claim is therapeutic, is 10 milligrams, okay? I never did well on 10 milligrams. It was too much for my body. At 10 milligrams, I felt very unmotivated. Now, everybody gets this. People do fine. They take a lot more than that. But for me, it was hard for me to get off the couch. I just felt like a dud. Now I could get motivated, but it was just, I would have to make to-do lists and whatever. It was just really difficult, okay? So I reduced it to half of that amount for a while and did really well on it for months and months. Was glad that I was able to take the leap and take the Lexapro, because it showed some areas that I kind of always had, even though it was like a low level of anxiety my whole life. It showed some areas where it kind of had creeped in my life, and my family suffered or my husband suffered, where I would always question things, or I would be like, well, are you sure they should go to so-and-so because such and such might happen? And always worst case scenario. So even the break from it, even if you don't have to take it forever, the break from that thinking kind of lets you in a place where you understand if your spouse is like, you're always so anxious, like you get it at that point when you're not feeling that extreme anxiety. If many of you know, if you watched my video, I went through that time where I had that extreme vertigo. I had what's called Epstein-Barr virus, which is mono. I got it from my son, and it was just downhill after that. I couldn't recover from that virus. Turns out I had had it before, but my titers were really high for it, and I just was not, because of the stressors that went with our move, I just could not recover from it. So the vertigo was so debilitating. I had difficulty getting them to school and everything. Off-label use for vertigo is they'll try to give Lexapro for it. It worked for me. It absolutely worked. But then I could kind of see where all of that low-lying anxiety I always had probably should have been dealt with all along. Now, my anxiety right now is slim to little. I still always have a little hum, but it was nothing like it was before. Off of it was not something on purpose. It was just that I did not have as much anxiety. I had weaned down to under 5 milligrams because I also was using essential oils that are also very good for anxiety. And I'm not telling anyone to do that. You know, I always say that if you're experiencing mental health issues, please check with your physician. But it is something that I did use, and I think that that helped the transition of why maybe I didn't have any refractory anxiety after almost weaning off of it. I'm not sure. Coming into the holidays, my husband works a ton, and usually it's a very stressful time for us. And so I kind of started feeling a slight increase in anxiety, and I just decided it wouldn't be a prudent time for me to try to wean off of it. So I am maintaining the small amount that I'm taking. When I take it, I'm not the best. I don't remember all the time. I try to take it, you know, every day, but it is a very low dose and not as what is recommended, which is why I didn't specifically answer people's questions about exactly how much we are taking, because I don't want you to deviate with what they said, what the physician says. I just want you to listen to your body. For me, the minimum dose for me was too much, okay? It was still therapeutic for me. I still wasn't experiencing anxiety at a very low dose. So I may try to wean off again sometime closer to the spring or right after the new year when things kind of slow down a bit for us. But I want you to know that I do use other things like essential oils that are really good for anxiety. I use copaiba oil daily, and that zaps it out. And I'm not telling anybody to do this in replace of, you know, medications that you've been prescribed, but I do use them, and I do find that they help quite a bit. So that is what I used initially. It just wasn't enough. What I will say is, if it ever happened again that I needed to take medication, I would do it hands down. If you remember me talking in my last video, it was a really hard decision because I kind of felt like we're not supposed to worry about anything. We're not supposed to be anxious. Why am I like this? I don't understand, God. I felt like it was a faith thing. I had to really let that go. And I would tell any mom, any dad, anybody who is suffering and feeling like anxiety is affecting their quality of life, go see somebody. You don't have to stay on the same medication they give you. There are all different kinds. If one doesn't work for you, try another. But if it is really affecting your life in a way that is inhibiting you from living your best life, please go see somebody. Like I said, hands down, if I needed it again, I would absolutely take it without hesitation. It was a blessing for me in the season of life that I have. I'm still, like I said, still taking that low dose, and we'll see what the future holds for me. I don't feel like I need it now, but the danger is a lot of people don't feel like they need it when they're on medication because you feel so great. Well, maybe I don't. But the reality is you guys, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I hadn't been great at taking it, and my levels are so low and not therapeutic because I would forget several days, take it, whatever, that I'm not quite sure it was really helping in the end. I'm just taking it to make sure that we get through the holiday seasons and find a more prudent time until I try again to wean off of it. I will update you again maybe in the spring to tell you, what's going on and to see if I wean and how I'm feeling. But hands down, it was a blessing to me. And if it is something that you are contemplating, go ahead and do it. Just know that a lot of times when you first take the medications, especially if you're in a place of high anxiety, it may get worse. Please know that that does not last. Walk through the walk. Just do the work. It may be 2 weeks before you start to see a decline. What I did, especially that first week, was the toughest for me. I really felt like I was standing on an edge. It was really hard. I walked a lot. I would do something, stay really busy, and I would walk all day long, sometimes 2-3 times a day, just to work it out so that I could rest at night. I diffused oils at night to help me relax. and helped me sleep. I stayed away from caffeine. I did things to help myself as I went through that 2-week process, but the first week was hardest, second week not so bad. Third week I was like, oh, I feel so much better, with such a relief. So I wish you all well. I hope that you are well. For those of you who messaged me saying that you decided to take it, I would love to hear from you. I pray that everyone is well and will have a good holiday season. Thank you for joining me on Mom Saving Grace. Until next time, wishing you all the best.